In this video, we will look at the sediment control systems which prevent dirty water produced from the earthworks from polluting and damaging local water systems. These systems need to be installed before you start doing the earthworks. When we remove vegetation or other ground covering on a site, we expose the soil to the weather. Raindrops impacting the ground and surface water flow erodes the soil. This eroded soil is called sediment. The sediment is carried by the runoff to streams and other water bodies. The sediment settles in the water bodies. It smothers plants and other marine life and can significantly degrade the whole ecosystem. Therefore, we need to minimize the amount of sediment that can enter the natural water systems when we undertake earthworks. To do this, we install sediment control systems before we expose the soil. This slide illustrates the basic processes in a sediment control system for a road being constructed in a sidling cut. First, we want to minimize the amount of runoff that we have to treat. Less water to treat means the treatment devices can be smaller and cost less. We can minimize the area of earthwork we open up and re-topsoil the plant surfaces once we have completed the earthworks in that area. We can also intercept rainwater before it flows onto the site. We do this by construction of a clean water diversion channel, as shown to the left, on the slope above the earthworks. This collects the water and diverts it to the stream. The water hasn't flowed over the earthworks and so it's not picking up any sediment, so it does not need to be treated as it is not carrying any sediment, so it can be diverted straight into the stream. However, water that does fall on the earthworks will carry sediment and needs to be treated. We collect the sediment-laden runoff in a dirty water diversion channel which runs along the bottom of the site. All of the runoff flows into the channel from where it flows to the sediment retention pond. In the sediment retention pond, the sediment settles to the bottom of the pond. This means that the surface water at the far end of the pond is relatively clean. This clean water is decanted off the surface into a manhole from where it flows into the natural water system. This photo shows a sediment retention pond. The dirty water diversion channel is in the foreground. It discharges the dirty water from the site into the pond. The first part of the pond is the forebay, which is deep to provide storage for the coarse sediment, which usually drops out almost immediately. The water then flows over a spillway into the main part of the pond. As the water flows to the end of the pond, the sediment starts to sink. At the end of the pond are floating pipes, called floating decant outlets, which collect the cleaner surface water and transport it to the disposal into the stream behind the pond. Another sediment control measure is called a silt fence. Silt fences consist of a geotextile that stop the sediment particles but let water flow through. They are a temporary barrier and can only service a limited area of land. If too much water stacks up behind it, the silt fence is liable to break and let the sediment through. The photo to the left shows a silt fence running along and below an area which is being excavated. The photo to the right is a close-up view of a silt fence showing how the brown-coloured silt, sediment, has been retained behind the fence while the water is able to flow through.